with regards to protests with regards to some sort of rebellion against local government. And this stems from 2004 to 2018. And in terms of these community protests, there were 246 with regards to community protests of some sort of rebellion against local government, be it service delivery issues. I was speaking to Ayanda Kwazulu-Natal, who was on the ground for us monitoring the situation earlier on, and she said that they've woken up to more protests. Ayanda joins us now live from Durban. Ayanda, thank you very much indeed for your time. What's the latest in KwaZulu-Natal?
Yeah, very good morning to you, Blaine, and good morning to our viewers. So certainly it's going to be set out to be day 2, another challenging day for the IEC officials as well as the law enforcement agencies here in KwaZulu-Natal. As you know, yesterday we reported about 7 areas across the province of KwaZulu-Natal where there were service delivery protests, unfortunately also hampering the work of the IEC, which in some areas the officials were only able to start working yesterday and conducting the over 70,000 home visits that were scheduled to conduct over these 2 days, as well, of course, the about 30,000 people that had applied for the special vote were then going to make their way to the voting station. So glitches yesterday, Blaine, as I said, in certain areas, voting they're starting a little bit late, but by the afternoon yesterday, from the IEC, all stations that were supposed to have been open had been open, and all blockages had been cleared by the law enforcement agencies. Day 2, we're waking up again to service delivery protests, certain parts here of, in fact, the CBD center of Durban. Gridlocked and people unable to get through to work and school and various destinations because of those protests. We are currently, the IEC is meeting, the IEC officials here are with the South African police top brass, gathering all that information, and that should be giving it to us very soon in terms of which areas they have experienced challenges this morning and how the process has started. It should start about 9 o'clock, but just how that process is supposed to get underway. Blaine, they did mention yesterday that there were over 100,000 applications that have been made here in KZN for the special votes, and there was a possibility that because of the challenges yesterday and what they anticipated to happen today, that there was a likelihood that they are not going to be able to get to all the over 70,000 homes that IEC officials are supposed to go to assist people to cast their votes. And so the plea from the IEC was that for the homes that they're unable to get to by 5 p.m. this afternoon, that those voters or community members, family members make special arrangements to get those voters to the voting stations tomorrow. Yesterday already telling us that it looks like they were going to be unable to get through to all of those. But we will be giving you the latest in terms of information, how many votes were cast yesterday, which areas experienced challenges later on in the afternoon. Also speaking about security, Blaine, you know that the province of KwaZulu-Natal identified as one of the 2 provinces, it's KZN and the Northwest, that were hotspots, and already with these service delivery and violent protests, obviously confirming what police had already said, that there were certain areas that they were looking out for here in KwaZulu-Natal. Escort and the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands is another area that is quite volatile at the moment. The Durban CBD is another area where the police have concentrated in terms of their deployment around the Durban CBD, several areas up in the northern parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Police saying that they have their systems in place. They have officers deployed to those areas. Officers will be deployed to every single voting station, but it will go in terms of the risk, whether or not the voting station is in a high risk, medium risk or low risk area. They do also have additional pools of police that are stationed into strategic areas to respond to any incidents that would take place in any part of the province. And as I speak to you, Blaine, right now, not so far from where we are, the police deployments, the additional 1,700 or so police deployments that are going to be spread out across the province of KwaZulu-Natal are now leaving today to their respective destinations. So in terms of the police, Blaine, they are ready. They have all the necessary manpower. And of course, you do know that we also have the South African National National Defence Force on standby should the need arise. But at the moment, that is what we have, Blaine. We will be giving you an update. 12:30 today, there will be an update from the IEC here in KwaZulu-Natal, right here where we are at the Results Operating Centre, on how the day has proceeded. But we should be able to get you some information from the IEC in about an hour or so on how the start, how officials have got into the areas, and whether or not there's been any other challenges aside from the protests that we've seen this morning. I'm going to leave it there for now, Blaine, and take things back to you.
And thank you very much indeed for your reporting. We're told reportedly about over 51,000 police officers will be fanned out across the country to ensure that these elections 2019, will be indeed free, fair, and most importantly safe. They will be supported by over 3,000 police reservists. So you can be rest assured, according to police, that these elections will be indeed safe. But